Male. Dede. Yeah. Last one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ShowBiz 360. All right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ShowBiz 360. Today we're bringing the Jogobia. Jogobia. Thank you. Jogobia. Cultural group from Navrongo. So do your thing. Do your thing. Yeah.
Of bank accounts plump enough to accelerate a departure to Canada. Of jumping the class hierarchy to the top of the political ladder so they too can have their share of the national pie. Of opportunities overseas that are force earnings hefty enough to own property and land back at home. Of putting their countries on the map via validations and headlines via white papers, but I only dream of being a house pet. With a house built in my name before my arrival. An identification tag that will smoothing out the creases in my movement, allowing easy access to my neighbor's backyard. I dream of a healthcare plan that predates my illnesses, and a care kit with a supply seemingly infinite to me because I have been planned for. Oh, how I dream of landing softly. All I ever dream of is to be cared for. To belong to community that laughs and learns and nurtures softness in our bones, where women aren't used to violence by the time they reach adulthood, where women aren't praised for surrendering to submissiveness, where women do not have to sacrifice their femininity on the altar of blackness for a chance to be considered human. And the people and the leadership do not make me dream up new ways of strangulation. In my country, Jesus is used as a yardstick for how hard the oppression wheel should be pedaled. But the thing is, Jesus comes back from the dead, resurrected every time, still wounded, but still whole, all flesh and bones, but we stay dead. Reluctant ancestors for a generation that will one day call us weak. The journey from egg to butterfly is a growth that astounds you, but the climb from one of us to one of them is an unwholesome decay. The trauma of witnessing a metamorphosis from person to politician. How power makes them selectively deaf, softens their rage, decomposes what comes out of their mouths. We must feel relieved now, shouldn't we? Hold the frustrations of insouciant leadership in our bellies, lest we miss the fortune of belonging to a country where we are all black. Black lives matter to African leaders, but only in America, though. How inconvenient to not have skin that can camouflage. Some African dreams are made up of white ambitions. Prepped for functionality, propped for tokenism. A scene from a Hollywood movie. A bottomless cash pit utopia, wealth stronger than the smell of garlic, to look African but be nothing African. But I only dream of being a house pet, well-fed, well-housed, well-lathered in care. Oh, how I dream of landing softly. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Poetry Santua! Yeah! Watch your engine. You wrote this yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have to read. Faculty, when I needed you, were not there. Your mates are reciting. Oh, yeah. No. Please, come on, by all means. Give it up for her, Poetry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my palace. I'm just a warrior. Wow. Divine words. Beautifully knitted together. I have to come for studies. And you're not here alone. She's here with another one. This man, I've known him since uni days. And in fact, the first poem or spoken word he performed, I was the one that wrote it. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Asaase! Yay! When they say, a penny back up and yes, a brother back up and also Kawasam, na fast and saw. Hey, no, give me something small. Give me something small. Give me something small.
When am I supposed to be giving?
Anything, go.
Come and let us do one
okay.
Together. Already.
Oh!
And then go.
No, you have to start with how you do it at events. I'm always watching you from afar. From afar. No, do something small. One line. Just one line for me.
I go.
Amen.
I go.
Amen.
I go over here. When you become penny, some of Fabet one and some, they are Kenyan when you mean some shadows would find their places on the walls. So me na switch and press when you need a check. And so be na say the onion and netias. Inti me pin me boa. And you see me nim pinti and come the beje just anyum no. Ni mu me pin me boa. E ye say. E ye ma won ho a. Say me feel mind ganim. Say better to sing. Say be sing. Ye pin pam sia. Ni e di bia fa dadwene. And as I say, o mama kwenje bi wo fa say. Asempa yi TNT. Etwa so. Na fo from the dia. Bonsam. Up north we call this in yellow plum. Meaning perfectly done, neatly executed. Guys, welcome. Thank you.
So today's show, I was like, guys, we need to do something different. We need to serve people something that represents us. There be a Ghana Manta. Sometimes we look too way back, I think. You know, we want to go to the previous generation, try to understand our history, which is perfectly okay. But sometimes we need to celebrate how far we've come, the journey. That's the only way the young folks watching us go like, we also have our own moments. Not when the elderly people are dead and gone. They will go and be doing, we wish they were here. So come on, I think this is being carefully thought through. Big kudos going out to the production team. And I want to say, guys, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So yes, let's get to know you. Let me start off from Poetry.
So my name is Poetry Santua. I'm a poet. I've been performing for, I think, almost 12 years.
Yes.
I'm doing poetry. And yeah, I love poetry. I think that we are all poets in one way or the other. We're always communicating in subtle ways, big ways, obvious ways. And I think poetry is the backbone of communication, and communication is the backbone of entertainment. So therefore, poetry, without poetry, there's no entertainment.
So I'm a poet, can I imagine her?
And
Yo! The title of my poem is Myself. My name is my mother and my father. Is it the same story for you?
So, good evening to all your viewers. My names are Philip Kwame Boachidua Uyinka. For the purposes of this conversation on art, you can call me Asaase.
Asaase.
Yes. So I'm a poet, literary coach, storyteller, a lot of other things that might not necessarily tie into this conversation.
I know.
This has been about 23 years of the creative journey for me.
Wow.
Yes.
23 years.
About 23 years. But
is that why your hair is giving us the signals?
I will tell you the story.
Your hairline is telling us a lot of things.
I will tell you the story of that one. That's a divine matter. But full time, I've been practicing for about 10 or 11 years.
Yeah.
Full time.
Fresh from uni, I remember.
Right out of uni, national service, first job, quit, jumped into poetry.
So this is full time for you?
Full time.
Same?
11 years.
yes.
You're full time storytellers?
Yes.
Yes.
In today's Ghana?
Yes.
Yes.
What of work?
Oh, yeah. Charlie.
But what drove you into this?
I think for art, and a lot of artists in Ghana, it becomes full time when there's no other option for you. It's something that you believe in. It's who you are. It's not a hobby. The same way that people will go to school to study medicine, that's the same way that you dedicate to your craft.
Even though they don't like to appreciate it, but yes,
exactly.
You're
but
making a point.
that's exactly what poets. So when people ask me, is this full time? I'm always like, yes. How else would it be? I can't call myself a poet and not be doing this full time. But for me, storytelling, poetry is full time.
Same. And what? See, I'm asking this because a lot of people believe that poets and storytellers like yourself, you go through a lot. I mean, you catch yourself from the outside world. You're mostly indoors, putting words or piecing words together, only to come to serve it to us hot like that. Is that how it comes? Or you live our normal life some?
Oh yeah, very, very
You
normal
socialize?
life. Yes. Yes.
You have friends?
Oh.
Not on Facebook, not in the virtual world.
Wow.
Real friends. Do you
No,
have real
but
friends?
I'm not aware of the conception that poets don't have friends.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's what they say. Yeah,
In fact,
from
I
books to
feel
books.
like in the poetry industry, no offense, guys, but I feel like they are the most talkative, most outgoing, probably should stay indoors more.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Khaled,
I love that.
There's a place where you stay indoors, meditate or write. Everybody has that moment for them. But you realize technology makes some of these things easier.
Yeah.
So you have your phone. So on the go,
Okay.
you can create. You don't need that divine midnight hour to sit up to do it.
Yeah.
But it varies from person to person.
Yeah.
So it
What
depends on what
Your line of
your
work
niche
has
is.
evolved over the years. I mean, from those days, for somebody to even listen to them. Your style, for instance, is done by linguists. You know, people mostly known as historians or folks from the palace who understand history, you know, our culture very well, piecing all those things together. And for you, do you have a royal background? Do you have royal blood flowing through you?
Well, I'm a heaven-born Ghanaian. Beyond that, I'm a regular everyday one
Ah,
like you.
so apart from the Lord's army,
I'm a regular everyday one like you.
and you guys have been celebrated across platforms. And that's one thing I want people to understand. These are young achievers. Forget the many years they've been doing this. They're very, very young. These are young achievers because you've been on platforms globally, internationally. Do you still have stage fright?
Yes.
Stage fright?
Yes. I
After
still
all
do.
this-
Yes. So there's something that One Love actually told me that if you are nervous before you go on stage, it shows that you care about your art. So I think I always feel that a few seconds of being nervous, but like the minute the first word or line comes out, I come into myself. Like it just disappears. And so I just acknowledge that you realize that this is important. That's why that feeling is there. But the minute I start performing, it's like it's just me who's on stage. Yeah.
Same for you.
Because you're only as good as your last performance.
True.
You never take your audience for granted. Once you feel the nervousness, it's okay. It's not about the nervousness, what you choose to do with it. So by the time my third ago has gone out, if the audience has been responsive, then I know at least I'm welcome here. Otherwise, you've got a lot to be afraid of. But audience research helps you.
Okay.
Before you face an audience,
You need to
seem
know and understand the
have a
caliber of
rough
people
idea
there.
of who is there, who is not there. There are days you're just thrown into the deep blue
That's
sea.
the one I don't understand. No? This one, they invite you, oh, Poetra, you know, I'm having a baby Christian. Just come, Auntie Poetra. And Uncle Nana says, oh, they pass you through. And then you go there and they give you a microphone. You get that a lot, eh?
Yes. It happens.
Say, yeah, baby.
It happens.
This is a
I don't
typical
particularly
Ghana
like it, but it
Yeah.
happens. So I've learned to be prepared for. I think in
Is
the
that that
early
you're going
stages,
or-
in the early stages of my career, if you do that to me, you and I both would be, disappointed.
Yeah.
But now I have become
Overcome.
accustomed to my people and to how things are done here, and so it happens all the time.
We have a lot of messages on Twitter, especially. The hashtag is ShowBiz360. We're celebrating Ghanaians this Ghana month. Of course, who else we will celebrate? It'll be our month. I'm getting a lot of people admiring our sets. Some to say, Giovanni, we warrior this way, they look well fed. Back in the day, hello? Do you understand your history? This warrior be digital warrior. Respect my outfit. And this one says, oh, Poetra, first time meeting her. Okay, I've heard so much about her. Let's talk about your book.
Yes.
Is that your maiden project?
I would say it's my maiden publishing project.
Okay.
So it's the debut of my first poetry collection.
How many?
And more. There's so many about to come after this one.
No, I mean, with that, how many pages?
How many poems?
How many poems do you have in
I
there?
think in total there's almost 65 pages.
65 pages, and each page has its own poem.
Yes. Some poems bleed. Some poems take up more than one page. But
Wow.
yes, I'm very proud of it because I get to publish it the traditional way, and it's going to be released throughout the world, and so many people get to see my work and get to read my work.
It's not out yet.
It's out on April 5th.
This Easter, before Easter.
Yes, April 5th. It's
Just
coming.
years
It
of
drops
work.
immediately, April 5th, yes. And so I'm very, very excited about it. I can't wait for everybody
You
to
give
have
us a
it.
general theme of that, but do you have something like that coming up? Do you have a school coming up?
Do I have-
You don't have a, I don't want a book. Do you have a school coming up?
Caleb, so I have a school in place already.
Okay.
That you need to know about. But I have not made noise about it because I want to ensure that when I call my neighbors to the dance, the music had better be good.
All right.
And so when all is set,
Yes.
it will really be open. You know, more of a cultural experience school.
Yeah.
Where you have people coming in to experience poetry, Ghanaian culture, and
Yeah.
music, are drumming for what it truly is. For now, it's a bit on the personal level. I offer personal tuition for indigenous knowledge, for poetry, and all of that. But
Are you engaged in schools? I mean, do you guys get to be called into schools to train
yes, a few schools.
Because growing up, all the poets in school were meant to be the brightest, and they understand how to piece words together. I mean, it was very necessary at that stage in their lives.
A few schools.
Okay.
But you realize when it's finally fully set up, then if the school does not come to us, we can boldly get into the schools on a deliberate agenda to introduce a Ghanaian culture to them. Because the educational structure as it is now
Does
does not
not inculcate,
support much of it or
Which is sad,
inculcates
right?
much of it. So it's coming up.
Wow.
I have had the privilege of having my work being studied or being used in different theses. So because of that, I do get
A lot of
a lot of students and colleges calling upon me to have these kind of conversations.
What's your style?
What's my style? I feel like that's a very open question. But really, my style is to be community inclusive. And community inclusive means I don't talk about just me. I talk about my neighbor. I talk about my country. I talk about all the things that are happening currently and the things that have happened in the past that should have been archived well. And so I feel like that leads my style. It can go anywhere.
And are we going to have a taste of that in the book?
Yes, very
We're
much so.
experiencing poetry,
Very much so.
bare form,
Very
no
much
filter.
So. Very much so.
Okay, so please let's follow her and note the dates of the release. There is a pre-order link, right?
Yes, there's a pre-order
Okay,
link.
so please give us the handles.
I will.
No, you can mention it now.
Poetra Asantua, Poetra_Asantua.
Poetra.
A-S-A-N.
And your Petra, Nana. Poetra.
Poetra_ASANTEWA. My Asantua is with one
The
A.
Asantua is Asantua. Yeah, Asantua. Asantua.
Correct.
Thank you. And then your handles?
My handles at Asaase Nana.
Asaase. Nana.
Asaase, A-S-A-A-S-E, Nana.
Okay.
It's together.
All right. I'm
So
saying this because I want
Asaase
people to
Nana.
follow you right now so that
Asaase
they follow the
Nana.
conversation. Guys,
Sure.
we're still here celebrating Ghana Month. I've got a few questions on Twitter to ask. Deputy Minister Education. That's your handle. Poetry should be the backbone of GH Entertainment. Great piece by Asantua. Do you write for musicians?
I do. I sing myself as well.
Sing in the same key. Stay in line, puppet, and we'll be a fan forever. If you step out of line, it's off with his head. How are you trying to be a captain of a roller coaster ride? Talent and hard work, 300 lives.
That's right. Is that your sister Debbie?
That's me.
Bring it down. Yes, Sister Debbie. Me tell you well.
That's me, yeah. That's me on a Walasi track. I've been.
Walasi.
Yeah.
Chaske. Oh, yeah. Come on, Giovanni, you're growing.
We all.
And as I say, you used to sing as well.
I used to sing.
Oh, you
I've-
still do?
I've done things with Kwesi Oting. Kwesi Oting's
Yes.
Kabiesi.
Kabiesi.
I've worked with No Tribe. Nasi's No Tribe.
Nasi, No Tribe.
No
You
Tribe.
did the intro, no?
Yes.
Yeah, my first time, who's a while. Friday, me trust issues.
Do you have the track?
Okay.
Yes, do you have the track?
Do you have Nasi's No
Black
Tribe?
Sheriff and Kawehu. You see Nasi, Christoni. Nasi.
So I've done a lot with mostly gospel artists. Most of them. Akwabo's Lighthouse album.
The album, you did the intro.
I did the intro.
That's serious?
I'm not sure it's been played much.
No.
But if you have it,
It's the.
drop it. I did it.
You did the intro, but I wrote the song for, Aquaba and Sinaso.
Yes.
I wrote the
Oh,
chorus
you wrote. Ah.
and the instrumentation.
Oh, okay.
I wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to take this, because when you unit together, right? At some point,
I was telling them how you're my
Yes,
platform mate.
the car
at some
together.
point, he was the organizer for Chosen
Vessels Choir.
and I was the deputy organizer. So when they finished rehearsals, we carried the drums. But he will be driving the 207, the UCF. Charlie, we go way back, man. We thank God for our lives. Yeah, blepping.
Have you found it?
Hey.
No
You
Tribe.
get the song next week. Yeah.
Oh, you get the song?
Gospel, I bet check. I got to see.
So I've worked with a few of them, a few of these artists. I realized that our work is typically absorbed into different markets.
Okay.
Academia. I've had my work study side and side with the likes of Professor Kofi Anyidoho and all of that. I've written some papers, I've presented some papers.
What?
Yes. I've had my
level of
my
learning.
work put in
But we are losing it at the lower level.
People's thesis and all of that. You know, I've done some media work.
Yes.
So you infuse poetry into all of these other art forms. When I have the time, I shoot poetic documentaries. I've done that for clients. But I'm known for poetry. So you realize that by virtue of the skill we have, by virtue of the art, you can actually venture into so many other things or put that skill of poetry to use in other fields.
Do you have the same story? You touched briefly on that.
essentially.
Do you guys feel underappreciated? Do people pay you for what you do in Ghana?
Well, I can't be there without being paid. So at least for where I am now, I'm unless I'm being paid.
No, because
That's
I'm asking
how
this
come-
because in our space, when people want to cut down budget,
think
they start
that-
looking at some of these things like, we are fight, we in sauna, say the Bema poetry pan, the anchor, order another salad. And then the lady should add goblet to it. People do
So
that
I
to
think
us.
that
creatives.
I think it's too in general, like
Yeah.
the creative world in Ghana has a long way to go. I mean, in general, that happens. It's not just poets, but definitely in the hierarchy, poets are the bottom of like people who have spaces to perform. But I also think that I don't feel like how poetry is now is how it used to be back then. It has evolved, it has grown, it's in more spaces than it used to be. Now you can go to an award show or you can go to a concert and there will be poetry there, where previously poetry was only delegated to the choir events that people thought. And so I also feel like it's on the poets ourselves to also create these platforms, to also show up as ourselves and to also demand to be paid. Just because that poetry has to be there doesn't mean I have to show up without being remunerated for it. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Someone is asking your greatest challenge in your space. Are there challenges?
So I think I mentioned one of them. There are not enough spaces for poets to perform. There aren't enough invitations for poets to be on different platforms. So I think that's one of the main challenges that I face. Yeah.
And then Asaase, the last I saw, you were performing before head of states and all that. Charlie, you ever miss your own words? You go there where you have that whole blackout thing. It do you before?
It happens all the time.
Eh?
It happens all the time.
I pay for me chamu, then you say me chamu Charlie what? Or something, then something just cover, something unrelated.
The thing is this. You do not know what I have rehearsed.
So you will not understand.
And the best part is, you know, you can say nyame adom ni experience.
Yeah.
After you have learned to do what you do, I know what I carry.
Yeah.
I know what my gift is. I know what my powers are. I know what I'm capable of and what I'm not capable of. And so if I miss my lines, I know what is happening. Anytime I'm thrown on stage, I see it as a fight for my life.
Wow.
And there is no way I can go down.
Wow.
I have not come this far to go down.
That's in the book of Jericho, but you let Yentwaso. Guys, I want to say big thanks to you for coming and showing us massive love today. We wish you all the very, very best. We know, Charlie, this is just the warm-up stage.
Yeah.
You have so many platforms out there representing. In fact, we pray you represent Ghana at the greatest, the highest level of your chosen career. And we know it's going to be possible because you're very unique in your own right. And we have a lot of other people like you watching us. Exactly. What do you want to tell young people who want to grow to become poets in Ghana?
Keep doing the work. I think this is a message not just for poets but all artists. Keep doing the work. Keep showing up as yourself and keep taking up space, especially in this digital age. Keep taking up space.
I love that.
She's speaking to the young people. Let me speak to the parents.
Okay.
Please. When you realize your child has that creative capacity, support them. Give them the very best you can offer. Don't suppress that creative energy. Let them study smart, and then let them develop their talents. He says, have you seen a man diligent in his work? He will stand before kings and not mere men. The gift of a man will take him before kings and into great places. And it is one of the beautiful ways we're able to preserve our culture and who we are as a people. Otherwise, our civilization is fast dwindling. So parents, please, if you realize your child has that creative edge, invest in it, push them, give them all the exposure you can get. Get in touch with us. Let us help them, direct them which way to go. When they grow,
they will not depart from it.
Hallelujah.
That's in the book of what?
Proverbs.
Charlie, follow me. You know, catch up.
Papa, I'm with you.
I'm with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Nana Asaase and Poetra Asante. When we return from the break, I've got my main guy, the young bull from up north, Tamale, one of the finest musicians right now. You better Google him. The guy they form bar for bar. Padlan is his name. He'll be joining me here. And of course, we have Asaase, who will be representing his field as we know him, musician, but the guy they draw. If he didn't draw the budget for, okay, you there. We'll be right back. Stay on.